can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
There's a lot of you don't know about the fantasy headlines. Nation. Headline Nation. Fantasy headlines for the nation. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yo. Analytics off the chain. Other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It probably feels like it has been a while since you've heard that intro. We're back. We're live, baby. Super Bowl 57 right around the corner. Right around the corner. It's Friday afternoon, just afternoon here, Eastern Standard Time. Super Bowl 57 will be on Sunday, and today we're talking about some pick'ems that we might want to do. Some pick'ems over on Underdog. If you have not signed up over on Underdog yet, you can do so now using code word headliners, and you'll probably even get a special, almost guaranteed to hit pick'em that you could play this Sunday. Caesar's in the chat. Maua family. Jordan Ortiz thinks the Niners are going to win 27-17. Walter John McGowan, also known as Dub JM. What's going on, baby? James, what's up? Happy Friday. Matt or Ike, becoming a member for the 4th month. What up, Kyle? Let's make some bread tomorrow. Love being a headliner. Let's go ahead. We're going to pat it. We're going to bake it in the oven for you and me. Ben, ayo, how we doing, Ben? What's going on, man? What is going on? So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some pick'ems, different things I like. Don't know if we'll put together any tickets on stream, but we'll see. If we see some things that we really do like, maybe we'll hop right into it. And as always, you can let me know in the chat what you're thinking, what you're feeling. If there's anyone specific you want to know about, we can talk about it, because that's how we do it here. That's how we do it here. And I can tell you one thing that we will not be talking about. No, I have no plans to talk about whether or not Travis Kelce is going to propose to Taylor Swift. I'm not going to be talking about how long the national anthem will be. What color will the Gatorade be? Will the coin flip be heads or tails? We're not talking about any of that. We're just not. It's not happening. All right. Let's go ahead and dive into it, talking about some different pick'ems that we like. I did take a look through some of the sports books today, trying to find some lines that we may or may not be feeling a little bit more comfortable with. I know that right now one of the main lines that I'm seeing that definitely could flex up and down over the next couple of days here. Christian McCaffrey is one of them. Right now, Christian McCaffrey, his line on Underdog is set at 92.5 rushing yards. When you take a look at the sports books out there, FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, MGM, they've all got the line set at 89.5 rushing yards with minus odds to go under. So the line of 92.5 right now is a little bit on the high side, it looks like. I think what we see with Christian McCaffrey is the potential for, is San Francisco playing in negative game script at any point in time? Do they have to throw it a little bit more because of that? And can the defensive line for Kansas City really wrap him up? Now, it took quite a few attempts for him to get to 90 yards against Detroit. Definitely was not doing well at the very beginning of the game. Based on what the lines are right now, because he is at 92.5 rushing yards over on Underdog, and we have such a discrepancy between that and the other books. As of right now, I'm going lower on Christian McCaffrey, 92.5 rushing yards. In my video, you heard me talk about it. 90 rushing yards in 8 of his last 10 games. 90 rushing yards in his last 2 games. Even if he hits that 90-yard mark, we are still safe by 2.5 yards. So I think I'm okay going lower. Now, if his line was set at 89 like the rest of them, I probably wouldn't touch it. But because it's such a large discrepancy, and we can still get under and hit 90 yards, I say we go lower than 90 yards here. Ben's going to go with Kelsey over 6.5 receptions. Purdy under 31.5 attempts. Danielle, what's going on? The clean face. It's not as clean as it has been over the last couple of days. Some of the scruff coming back, but, you know, it's a lot better than it was at one point. I look younger and I look thinner, I believe, and I like it. So, yeah, Christian McCaffrey right there. Kind of that first one that we look at. We see him. We're like, okay, we're feeling that. We're feeling that. There's a thought of Brandon Ayuk going over. Now, right now, his line is set at 59.5. I wrote all these down today, so I'm just kind of going in order of the way that I wrote them down that I found them. Brandon Ayuk right now over on Underdog, sitting at 59.5 receiving yards. Of the main books, and I only took a look at the main books as well. FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, DraftKings, like those major ones. I didn't take a look at all of the other ones just because, like, I want to focus. My apologies. The cough is still lingering a little bit from COVID. But anyway, of all the major books, they also have Brandon Ayuk set at 59.5 receiving yards. Also giving him minus odds to go over that. But then we see another discrepancy here where FanDuel has him set at 62.5 receiving yards. Also giving him minus 110 odds to go over. Minus 110 odds to go over. So, again, majority of books feel like Brandon Ayuk is going over 59.5 receiving yards. One major book has him going minus odds at 62.5 to go over that. So if we're going to take a look at Brandon Ayuk to begin with, Brandon Ayuk at this point in time would be higher than 59.5 receiving yards for me. KC to win, Pacheco over and a TD, Kelsey over 6.5 receptions, CMC anytime second half score, under on everything Purdy, Chris Jones to record 2 sacks, CMC under rushing yards. That's a lot of bets right there. And we're not even going to end up diving into all of those. All right. So on the receiving yard side of things, there's a lot of different thoughts about Travis Kelce right now. Current receiving yard total on Underdog is set at 74.5 receiving yards. Right now, Underdog is the only app that has him that high. The only app that has him that high. On FanDuel, his under, they have him set it. So FanDuel has him at 72.5. DraftKings has him at 70.5. MGM and Caesars also have him at 70.5. Now, FanDuel has him at minus 110 to go under 72.5 yards. DraftKings has him at plus 100. And Caesars has him at plus 105 to go under 70.5. And MGM has him at minus 105 to go under 70.5. So even if you look at the differences, we've got 4 major sports books, 2 with plus odds to go under, 1 with minus odds to go under, 2 with minus odds to go under. We're looking at, even if the bets seem to favor on DraftKings and Caesars where he's plus odds to go under, even if we think that that favors him to go over, he could still go over 70.5 receiving yards and fall under 74.5 receiving yards. His line on Underdog right now is extremely high compared to every other book. Every other book. So right now, the thought would be Travis Kelce. We are going to take the under of 74.5 receiving yards as of right now. Now, I think one thing people are going to talk about is going to be Travis Kelce potentially anytime scorer. I am not taking Travis Kelce to score a touchdown in this game. If you watched Jake and I's breakdown on this game in the video that we just put out, was it yesterday or Wednesday? Yesterday. I don't remember. All my days are going together here. All day yesterday, I thought it was Friday. So, and it took Nick telling me at, I don't know what time it was, early evening, to be like, you realize it's not Friday, right? And I was like, oh, it's not. I even let my son, because we have a household rule, you cannot do any more than an hour of like electronics on a school night. I let that kid get home from school and just go to town on the computer. And like 3 hours later, I'm like, you're not supposed to be on the computer right now. But anyway, I digress. So we talked about the defense for San Francisco. And I mentioned in that video that San Francisco has only allowed 2 touchdowns to tight ends all season long. Fewest in the league. Now, when you take a look... Nope, I'm on the wrong page. No, I'm not. I was on the right page. Now I exit out of it. When you take a look at overall production, San Francisco allowed the... I have to resort this because I messed it up. San Francisco allowed the... San Francisco allowed the 10th fewest receiving yards. So they allowed the fewest touchdowns to tight ends. They allowed the 10th fewest receiving yards to tight ends. But what is interesting is they were right in the middle of the pack in terms of receptions. They were literally right in the middle of the league in terms of receptions. So if you take a look at Travis Kelce, he's definitely going to be an X factor for Kansas City to win this game. But if I had to guess, Steve Wilkes is probably thinking, we've done really good against tight ends all year long. Let's go ahead and focus on Travis Kelce, and let's make this passing game one-dimensional, or make Patrick Mahomes have to rely on Pacheco out of the backfield, Rashee Rice, or MVS. That's what I had to guess. So right now, Travis Kelce under on the receiving yards. I know Patrick Mahomes rushing is always a pretty interesting bet because we know he does such a good job of improvising outside of the pocket. A lot of people like to do Patrick Mahomes over rushing yards. So I took a peek at that. Right now on Underdog, 25.5 is the line. 25.5 is the line over on DraftKings and Caesars as well. DraftKings giving minus 125 odds to go over. Caesars giving minus 110 odds to go over. FanDuel has his line currently set at 26.5 rushing yards with minus 110 odds to go over. So there's a lot of people out there that think he's going to go over on the receiving. Or receiving. Yeah. Don't mind me. Rushing. He's a quarterback. When you take a look at, let's see here real quick. So as far as his rushing goes, so here at the end of the year, Baltimore, he only had 15. Kansas City, he only had 19. Miami, he had 41. 2 against Cincinnati. 53 against Las Vegas. So here to end the year, he only had... So in the playoffs, he went over against Miami. So once in the last 3 games. Twice in the last 5 games. And since week 12, he's only gone over that twice. Now in the middle of the like to begin the year, he rushing wise, he was always up there and close. 45, 30, 28, 51. Against Minnesota, he had 0 rushes, 0 yards. 31, 29, 20, 24, 38. If you think about San Francisco, you think about their pass rush. What's up, Briz? You think about San Francisco, you think about their pass rush, you think about what they can and can't do with it. I would be willing to bet that more than likely San Francisco is going to be able to find, or more than likely Patrick Mahomes is going to find the opportunity to go over 26.5, or what is it, 25.5? Go over 25.5. Now, here's another bet. Let's talk about this one, right? Because we just went through and we said, yards wise, here at the end of the year, kind of been all over the place. Beginning of the year was super close or over on all of them. But right now his rushing attempts is only set at 4.5 rushing attempts. Now when you take a look, he's hit 6 rushing attempts in each of his last 2 games. He had 4 in week 17, 10 in week 16. He's gone over 4.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times this year. So if you're feeling like, oh man, the rushing yard's not really what I want, if that feels like that's an issue for you, then you could always take a look at the rushing attempts if you would like. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. San Francisco has allowed the 11th most rushing yards to the quarterback position this year. 11th most rushing yards. They allowed 86 attempts, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 most. 6 most. So if you're not feeling great about the yards, I think maybe the attempts is slightly more attainable. Now, if he runs the ball 5 times, it's hard to imagine that he doesn't get over 26.5 rushing yards. Okay. And I take a look at it this way. If you think he's really going to go over on the rushing attempts, more than likely he's going to go over on the yards themselves. If you think he's going to go over on the yards, just go with the yards and don't worry about the attempts, because just because he goes over 26.5 rushing yards doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go over the attempts. And again, if they take Travis Kelce out of the equation, it's the Super Bowl. You know Patrick Mahomes is going to do everything he can to extend plays. Healthy right now. Me personally, I probably lean towards the rushing attempts a little bit more. 4.5 rushing attempts. I'm going to go over 4.5 rushing attempts. Decently solid bet to go over on the rushing yards as well. Whatever you're feeling most comfortable with. Deebo Samuel right now is set at 79.5 rushing plus receiving yards. His line is a yard lower on all the other major books. It's the same on FanDuel, minus odds to go under 79.5. But then you have minus odds to go under 78.5 on DraftKings, MGM, and Caesars. So if you're thinking, because I took Ayuk over, I took Christian McCaffrey under, I've got one Patrick Mahomes in there, and I got one Travis Kelce in there. I'm probably not going to add this one personally to the ticket I'm currently looking at. Doesn't mean that I wouldn't add it to another one. But it does look like the books are currently favoring him to go under 79.5 rushing plus receiving. Now, if you listened again to the show that Jake and I did yesterday, Jake discussed how the short passing game could come into effect for Kansas City. I think you also have to anticipate it coming into effect for Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers. Chris Jones is going to be in that backfield. Brock Purdy's likely going to have to get the ball out quickly. The deep passing game against Detroit wasn't all that great. Now, obviously, they ended up winning that game, but if you take a look at like a couple of the major throws that Brock Purdy made down the field, there was the one that Cam Sutton had in his hands, but then Brandon Ayuk knocked it out. That was one potential interception. And then there was another interception where the ball literally hit him in the face mask, bounced up, and Brandon Ayuk ended up catching it. So 2 of the big deep passes that Brock Purdy threw this past or 2 weeks ago against Detroit should have been picked off, and they were not. I don't really know if, number one, Brock Purdy is going to have, because the Kansas City pass rush is going to be better than Detroit's. I know Aiden Hutchinson did a good job of getting back there. Aleem McNeil, not bad, but Detroit's pass rush really let them down over the course of the season, and Brock Purdy had more time than I would have liked. He also got out of the pocket a couple of times. I'm probably, for the most part, staying away from this one, because when you talk about the short passing game, I think Deebo could make a whole lot of difference there. And I really worry about that, and especially when you're taking the under on receiving plus rushing, and you know he's going to get a couple of rushes here and there. Kyle Shanahan, I think, is going to be scheming Deebo all over the place. So personally, the numbers show that we go for the under right now. I'm probably not doing it right this minute. We'll see if that line changes over the weekend, though. Doug Bog, what's going on, baby? You think Bosa or Young can get to Mahomes? Do I think so? Yeah. Banged up on the offensive line right now for Kansas City. Definitely think Bosa and Young can get back there for sure. Part of the reason why I'm taking the over on the rushing attempts at 4.5. Brendan becoming a member for the 28th month. Appreciate you, Kyle, and the content all year. Love Discord and the extra videos. Join if you haven't. Salute. Brendan, if you have not seen yet, we do have a break posted right now. Just so you know. Just so you know. What about Pacheco rushing yards and attempts? Let me see if I have him in my notes here. I can't remember if I specifically saw anything on him. Because remember, kind of talking about discrepancies right now. There's not a whole lot of discrepancies on Pacheco. I don't even know what his line is set at because I did not write it down. We can go take a quick look though. Uh, 16.5 rushing attempts, 3.5 receptions. That's a spicy pick. Oh man, over 3.5 receptions. I don't know if I hate that for a spicy pick. It's a 1.25 multiplier. Let me see. Isaiah Pacheco. Oh, man. My apologies for the cough. I finally, for the most part, have my full sense of smell back. That just came back. Like, yesterday was the first time that I was able to, like, okay, I can smell everything for the most part. There's still some things I can't smell, which is very weird. There's some foods, like, I put my face to, and I smell nothing. I can smell hand soaps. I finally just was able to smell my dog yesterday. He came and sat next to me, and I, like, laid my head against him like this. And I was like, oh, I smell you. That's the first time I've been able to smell him. Like, the laundry detergent I can smell, but there's, like, some foods I can't smell. Lysol I can't really smell either. It's really weird. And then this cough is lingering. You look good in those glasses. Where are the sunglasses at? I got to put the sunglasses on, Nick. Then we'll be looking really good. So receiving. So he had 4 receptions against Baltimore. He only had 1 against Buffalo and only 1 against Miami. He had 7 receptions against Cincinnati, 4 receptions against Las Vegas. So his receptions have been up and down this year. I think if you're looking for a nice little way to spice up a ticket, maybe don't put this like in your safe ticket or anything like that. But if you do put together, you know, if you decide to do like a $10 or a $20 ticket where you do a 5 pick and you want to kind of inflate it a little bit and try to get maximum return from it, I don't think 3.5 receptions going higher is all that bad of a way to do it. Again, we've talked about San Francisco's ability to shut down tight ends. His ability to shut down tight ends. And because they do a pretty good job of that, if you take away Patrick Mahomes' main target for the most part, he's going to have to go somewhere else. We've talked about Chase Young and Nick Bosa getting into the backfield, creating pressure on Mahomes, some dump-offs for Pacheco. I don't hate that as a spicy pick, to be honest with you. Like I said, I don't know if I'm putting it together. If I'm putting like together a safe ticket where I double up, I'm probably not making it a part of that. Higher or lower 1.5 10+ yard rushes from Brady. Not Brady. Oops, from Eric, excuse me. He runs hard. He does. But San Francisco's very good against the run. Very good. I think you see a lot of those a lot of those, a lot of those 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. I don't know if you see a ton of huge runs from Pacheco, and that's probably where I'm being a little bit cautious with him. Feeling like baseball is in the air. Doug, I agree with you. It feels real nice outside at 60 here. Brady just found out the Chiefs is not allowed a running back to go over 90 yards yet this season. Yep. Talked about Debo. What was the other one I wanted to talk about? All the books appear to feel like Brock Purdy goes under on the passing yards. When you take a look at Patrick Mahomes, all of the books tend to agree he's going to go over 260.5 passing yards. But the problem is Underdog is slightly higher than all the other books right now, so I'm staying away from that one. Consensus is, though, over 260.5 is a good bet if that drops on Underdog at any point in time. I mean, those were the majority of ones I wrote down as being like the biggest like differences that I could see. Those are probably the ones that I would go with as of right now. Now, of course, as the market fluctuates and as things change over the course of the next 24, 48 hours, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on any news that comes out about any players, anything like that. More than likely, a majority of my bets will not be placed until Sunday morning, if I had to guess. I'll probably wait for the market to settle out Sunday morning a little bit and then kind of go from there. So, yeah. We've been live for 34 minutes. I wanted to keep this in between 35, 45 minutes just because there's going to be people coming in and out of this show over the next couple of days. I wanted to have a little juice behind it. For me personally, I'd like a lot of people to be able to see this and be like, yeah, let's get some Pick Ems in. Again, if you do not have an account over on Underdog, I would highly encourage you to make this weekend your first weekend that you have played it. Go over to Underdog, use code word headliners. You're going to get a deposit match of up to $100, and they're going to give you a super special Pick 'em that's almost guaranteed to hit this weekend. That would be an excellent way to kind of toss in a little winner there. So I've got 4 that I locked in that I felt pretty good about right now. We talked about 2 others that felt pretty good. We talked about a couple that we didn't love, and we talked about a couple that the books really hadn't aligned yet for us. So we talked about quite a few of them today. So hopefully this helps you put your Pick 'ems together for this weekend. Anna, what's going on? Kittle receptions at 4 is an interesting push opportunity. The tight ends, I think, are going to be very interesting because both of these defenses do a pretty good job against tight ends. Both of these defenses do a pretty good job against running backs as well, except for San Francisco 2 weeks ago, who got manhandled by Detroit, and Detroit just couldn't finish it. It is what it is. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it there. I think we got some pretty good information in there today. Let me double check and see if there's any specials that are going on right now. Doesn't look like any specials right now. 3 16-hour days in a row. Fun. All right, Headliner Nation. Good luck this weekend. Good luck to your team, whoever you're rooting for. I mean, I picked I picked Kansas City to win, but I don't have a rooting interest in this Super Bowl, and I definitely don't hate it as much as other people do. I'm fine with the Chiefs being there again. I know people are grunting and gargling about Taylor Swift and being upset about seeing her, and the NFL wants her there. She wasn't dating Travis Kelce the last 3 times they went to the Super Bowl. I respect the hell out of dynasties. I respect the hell out of teams that can put together such insane runs like the Patriots did, when people were like, I hate seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl every single year. Lorenzo, did I lose my taste? I didn't lose my taste. I only lost my smell, which was weird because people are like, I've never just lost my smell. I don't hate seeing dynasties, man. I don't hate seeing teams. I respect the heck out of teams that are able to do this. I mean, Patrick Mahomes going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all times. If he gets another Super Bowl here, that's really going to help cement a legacy that still honestly is in the middle stages at this point. He's got a lot of football left. I had the opportunity to say I watched Tom Brady growing up, and I saw him be such a dynamic playmaker. The fact that I would basically be able to say that my entire life I got to see the greatest 2 quarterbacks of all time, I think would be absolutely insane. So I don't care if the Chiefs win. Patrick Mahomes doesn't bother me. His wife doesn't bother me. Taylor Swift doesn't bother me. His brother's a bozo. We'll go there. As far as the 49ers being there, I'm a Kyle Shanahan fan. If they were to win, I'd love to see him finally get his ring. I like Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy is a crazy good story. If he were to get a ring, that would be absolutely insane. I'm a big George Kittle fan as well. George Kittle, one of my favorite players in all the league. Absolutely love him. Yeah. I love it. Are we going to the Combine this year? The NFL has not released press passes as of yet. We'll probably hear about those in the next couple of weeks. But we have booked our hotel room and everything. So as long as the NFL gives us press passes again this year, we will be there. Absolutely, Doug. Yeah, and his dad, Anna, I forgot about his dad getting a DUI again. That's crazy. But all right, chat, that's going to do it for me. Enjoy the game on Sunday, even if you don't like either of the teams. If you don't like Taylor Swift, if you don't like Patrick Mahomes or Brock Purdy or Kyle Shanahan or whatever it may be, just enjoy the game. It's the last football that we're going to have for a while. So regardless of your feelings for either team, just enjoy the game. Enjoy watching football. Okay, that's all you got to do this weekend. Don't worry about the rest of it. Don't even have a rooting interest if you want. Just enjoy football, because this is the last time we're going to get, I'll say, real football in quite a while. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your Saturday. And enjoy Sunday as well for Super Bowl Sunday. I've got a couple of things to do. My daughter has her second show choir competition tonight, so I'm going to get ready to head out here in a little bit to go to that and cheer her on. But y'all have a great rest of the weekend, whatever you have going on. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, Headliner Nation.
When the game on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they